Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. We're going to jump straight into the content here, starting with Scott Chamberlain's tweet. It's referencing this Coinbase stuff right here in regards to this verbiage within this litigation. It says these two paragraphs leap out. If this is their view, tokens are not investment contracts because investment contracts require contract and secondary market sales come with no contracts attached. Then it is indefensible that Coinbase delisted and has not relisted XRP. So literally, he put these side by side. You can come in here and click them and check them out. But this verbiage is literally hitting it on the head when he's saying, "How do you defend why you delisted it, why you delisted XRP, and why you're not relisting it?" Right. So then, if we come over here, Crypto Law US put this up, and this is Tony Edward from Thinking Crypto, and this is his interview with Paul Gruwall. This is legal officer for Coinbase, and they're talking about the steps to potentially restarting or relisting XRP on their exchange. So let's take a quick listen into this.
Let's say in a scenario, the ruling from the judge is in favor of Ripple. Will Coinbase then make the assessment, you know what? It looks like things are moving in the direction of XRP and Ripple and so forth. Relist XRP or restart trading?
It's possible. It would all, of course, depend upon the basis for the ruling, the judge's legal reasoning, our assessment of whether or not an appeals court would affirm that decision. So a lot's going to depend on the particulars of how that court rules. I know that's not going to be terribly satisfying to some, but we do have a responsibility as a publicly listed company to tread carefully in this area and with respect to any token that's the subject of federal court litigation. But I'm very, very eager, as much as anyone else, to see how the court rules. And what I can say is, as soon as we have that ruling, we will put it into our process to see if we need to revisit our listing decision.
So let's revisit their listing decision. Here's the crazy thing: is what just happened with the NYAG. We know that this is coming from the SEC and Chairman Gensler, right? It's that same narrative that they're pushing. They just push it off into to the NYAG, and they say, hey, you guys go ahead and start going after Ethereum and attack them, right? So Ethereum is being so-called quote unquote classified under their securities these securities laws, right? Which obviously legal, there hasn't been true legal precedence for, but that's what they're speculating, right? Just like they're speculating on the XRP, the digital asset XRP, right? What did Coinbase do right when the lawsuit dropped and XRP was quote unquote speculated to be a security, right? They delisted it. So why haven't they done the same thing to Ethereum? That's the thing. And he's saying, yeah, we're going to assess the court ruling, but then we're going to, reevaluate and ensure A, B, and C, and D, right? After the fact. Okay, well, if that's your process, right, and you have this very elaborate process to even onboarding or listing digital assets on your platform, why aren't you holding all the rest of the digital assets to the same standard? I mean, I haven't checked on it, but I know there was that insider trading stuff, and they were saying something along the lines of 6 to 8 digital assets were, considered securities. Like, did they ever delist them? And now you have this big attack against Ethereum, but Ethereum's not being delisted. So if that's the case and you have this verbiage going on within litigation, right, kind of stepping on your own toes, why are you not relisting XRP? Especially when you're like, oh, we got to stand together and we got to fight the fight against, the SEC and the powers that be that are trying to overregulate the space, right? You're saying all those things, but you're not truly back in the Ripple and XRP community, because if you would relist it. I mean, there's other platforms out there that still have it on there. Interesting. But anyways, it's just a waiting game to kind of see what happens. This is from Ashley Prosper responding to James K. Filan. It says, in the Voyager bankruptcy case, Judge Wiles has denied the SEC's motion for stay pending appeal. So coming over here, I don't want to read this legal stuff here, but sums it up. It says these judges aren't just siding with the defendants. They are ripping the SEC lawyers to shreds for their inconsistencies, the straw man arguments, the hyperbole, and their lack of faithful allegiance to the law. That's the biggest part of that I want to emphasize. There is this their lack of a faithful allegiance to the law, which the judge in the Ripple versus SC case said the same thing. It's truly devastating, and it's shameful because these are the representatives that's supposed to be representing the people, and they're not. God, that annoys me when it does that. Yeah. So yeah, it's just shameful that this is their tactic, this is their behavior, and quite honestly, John Deaton hits it on the head when he says this. Their priority and their purpose for being in the position that they're in, right? Being for the people, they've literally just completely just wrote it off. It shouldn't even be a part of their title or their MO or their job description anymore. What they're doing in regards of, battling and fighting for the incumbents and their buddies and doing everything to fit their own personal agenda and to pad their pockets, that should be in their new description. And it's just shameful that that's the reality. Scott has a reference here. He says, the passage from the Voyager decision is insane. The SEC staff are taking the court's positions the SEC doesn't hold. It's the same pea and thimble trick they paid in Ripple. What a busted arsed, out of control regulator. Surprised the court didn't call this out. So I'm just going to read this right here. It says, first, I was told the SEC staff believes that the VGX token has aspects of a security, but the commission itself has not taken any position on that subject. Second, I was told the SEC staff believes that Binance.us is operating as a security exchange without registering as such. Though, once again, the commission itself has not taken any position on that subject. So as you can see, that's kind of what they do. And it's like, who are you kidding? And you talk about a lack of faithful allegiance to the law. They're trying to just do anything in their power to pull at straws or pull anything that can, give them, hey, hopefully this helps us, okay, well, that didn't work. All right, let's try to say this. Oh, William Hinman, that was his personal opinion. Oh, no. That was, part of the decision of corporate finance within the SEC. Oh, no. That we didn't say that. It's like, okay, you're just literally contradicting yourself in everything that you do, right? But you're supposed to be for the people, and you're supposed to be, those representatives that, value the law, not even just the SEC themselves, but even their lawyers and the attorneys that are representing them. That's probably the most shameful part about it. They swore an oath, right? Just like Chairman Gibson and the SEC, but they're not, showing, allegiance to the law. They're showing a lack thereof, which is just shameful. Let me go on. I'm rambling. I can keep going on with that. This is from JV responding to Bill Morgan. Bill Morgan says the judge really did not get how any party could address the SEC's concerns with the quote limited guidance the SEC had provided. He was a little miffed. It seems that he was left to guess at what the SEC's arguments about VGX should be regarded as a security might have been. So he has a thread there, but we're just covering what JV says. It says, wow, Gary Gensler and the SEC are making a mockery of our courts, wasting good old taxpayer dollars. Thanks, Gary. And thank Congress for continuing to allow it. And we're going to cover Congress because we're literally getting fed up with just these words and letters that they're sending out. This is from Congressman Warren Davidson. Says, would federal regulators destroy 3 banks to defend the status quo? Quote, any buyer of Signature Bank must agree to give up all crypto business at the bank, 2 sources added. So John Deaton and Caitlin Long have responded to this as well. Says, yeah, it had nothing to do with crypto. And then Caitlin Long says, Operation Choke Point on steroids now. Yeah, literally. And look at this. It's from CoinDesk. It says, SEC Chairman Gary Gensler has reiterated his view that proof-of-stake tokens like Ether might be securities and that token operators and intermediaries should seek to come into compliance. Look at this narrative. We've been talking about on this channel. We've been talking about in the community, okay? It's not just about one digital asset or one platform. It's about the entire crypto space, okay? They're trying to control it. They're trying to get a bigger piece of the pie. They're trying to pass off custody, which is a big word, custodying to, these established incumbents and, the powers that be that's been, running the financial systems for the past century. It's more than that. And I still see people in the community talking about, oh, well, this project and that project. It's like, no, it's one team. They're coming after everybody. And this narrative, there's no coincidence. There's no coincidences here. So everything that you see from FTX to Do Kwon to, Voyager to BlockFi to Ripple versus the SEC, all these things, it's one giant web. And if you really look at all the details and we're continuing to find more information, you connect the dots, it just adds to the web, okay? This is what they're doing. So if we come back here, they're talking about would federal regulators destroy 3 banks to defend the status quo? Come on now. And then you're saying anybody that buys it, you got to give up all crypto business? Come on now. This is crazy. It's nuts that like we don't have the proper representation that is truly for us, outside of us fighting for ourselves, right? But when it comes to like people in Congress, you know, the SEC, like I'm talking about those people. Even like Tom Emmer here, it's like he's saying it's clear the Biden administration is weaponizing markets chaos to kill crypto. This is why I sent an investigative letter to FDIC Chairman Gruenberg seeking additional information yesterday. What in the loving heck? He is saying a letter, right? What is Chairman Gensler and the SEC doing? Action. They are about action. So look, put it like this. This is a great analogy, if you will. So Chairman Gensler's punching. I mean, he's actively hitting everybody in the face, right? What is Tom Emmer in Congress doing? You know, they're using kind words, and you know they're scared with their tail between their legs, right? And just waiting for, you know, the teacher to come help, instead of defending us, you know, what's right, and standing up and fighting back and nipping it in the butt, right? They're just we're all just taking licks while they're writing letters and saying these great words and having these speeches, right, that are supposed to be uplifting and motivating, talking about a new day. You have Chairman Gensler and the like actually taking action. It's tragic. Let's listen into this.
More importantly, Neil, why is our government going after the crypto business? Signature, they initially announced that the issue was they were banking crypto and making loans. They weren't. They were just banking crypto, and even the New York Financial Services Department, the head of that, has acknowledged crypto had nothing to do with Signature. Barney Frank, the former chair of the House Financial Services Committee, has said it appears that this is an attack on crypto. In fact, two sources have told Reuters that anybody who buys Signature has to agree they will not bank crypto. So it's really interesting, Neil. More questions to be answered. If you look at the Fed, which just announced that this summer it's going to release or going to kick off its Fed Now program, which is a payment system that would settle payments within seconds. It's interesting, is our government competing with the private sector right now, and are these banks that are banking crypto actually the target of their angst?
That's a fascinating, substance.
So I want to say something here. So I need to reiterate this. So obviously, if you've been following this channel, you know kind of how I operate on this channel. Okay, I obviously do a lot of research, look at Twitter, watch a lot of videos, and trying to, I'm always in the crypto space trying to find information and see what's new, see what's going on. I am just a normal dude on the internet that makes videos. Okay. So when I say things, like I say it for how I see things. Obviously, if I'm saying certain news things that may pop up, whether I dive into it and get the facts, if you will, I like to, bring to light what's being spread out there. And obviously, if I see some stuff that seems just faulty or someone's just creating these rumors, I tend to not put those on these channels. Sometimes some of the stuff comes out to be not as bad as it may be. But what I'm trying to say here is I'm just some dude on the internet making content. Okay. So when I talk about, our Congressman Tom Emmer or, Hester Pierce or anybody in that light, right? I don't know all the ins and outs in regards of, their job description and what they're doing behind the scenes. Maybe they have some elaborate plan or strategy that they're going to roll out. I don't know. I'm just telling you based on the information that I see and the behaviors based on, how the SEC and, the like and all these shady people and this conflicts of interest and this corruptness is just taking action. I get frustrated when I hear, all these great words that these people say and, we're sending letters. It's like, okay, well, what else can you do? We're all getting decked right now. Let's defend ourselves. Let's take more action. Let's be like John Deaton and really throw our name in there. You know what I'm saying? And let's fight back. That's all I'm saying. I just pay respect. I'm paying respects to, I don't know all the ins and outs of their positions and all that stuff. And I just wanted to say that. Just some dude kind of giving my opinion. Continuing here, this is Tom Emmer, responding to Tom Emmer here, says, today I sent a letter to FDIC Chairman Gruenberg regarding reports that the FDIC is weaponizing recent instability in the banking sector to purge legal crypto activity from the U.S. Bill Morgan says, you write, quote, a lazy and destructive regulatory strategy that is stagnating innovation. Sums it up. Should have copied the SEC and Gary Gensler, at least for the destructive part of the sentence, although you can't say Gensler is lazy in implementing his agenda. Moving on here, digital asset investor. I mean, feels the same way. It's like, I wish you had, or he had told us, meaning Tom Emmer. I wish Tom Emmer had told us the new day coming would just be tweets and letter writing. Seriously. I mean, what else are we supposed to think in the community? Like, we haven't seen anything else. I mean, look what's happening. Look at all of this devastation that's hit our markets. Not even just the people. These are everyday people that lives have been decimated from just shady stuff. Why can't we get some sort of, I guess you can call it standby, or, just some sort of regulation or clarity out there, right? That, put it in terms that, hey, tentative, it can change over time, right? This is what we're going to have in place until we have a definitive process, right? And in that part, you can evaluate how things are operating, but give projects, give these innovators and entrepreneurs something to, kind of look at and say, okay, here's how I'm supposed to operate, right? And this in turn can help investors in them and protect us in regards of our investing endeavors in this space, right? Instead of just, we don't have anything yet, or we're gonna drop the hammer on these people and we're just gonna, speculate that these are security and do everything in our powers to shut them down, right? You're just devastating the people that you're so-called set out to protect. And that's the shameful part about it. I mean, it really is tragic. Tragic and shameful are probably like my two most used and favorite words when it comes to just this shady stuff, because it's true, man. There's everyday people like myself that have families, kids, they struggle to work every day, work hard for their money. And, they invest in this space. They research in this space because they see light at the end of the tunnel. They see the writing on the wall. They see where this space is going, right? We all want to change the financial course of our lives. Nobody wants to work for the rest of their lives, doing something maybe they don't want to do. Not saying that I'm doing that or other people, not everybody does it, but I'm saying there's a lot of people out there that invest like, man, I can't wait to get my break. Let them get their break. Give us the information we need. It's tragic, man. I wanted to play this. We're at 17 minutes. Yeah, we could play this really quick. This from Digital Asset Investor says, the first new asset class since the introduction of bonds. The asset class to swallow all asset classes. Think tokenization is being transferred to the mega banks. They shouldn't call it Operation Choke Point. It should be called Operation Incumbent Point. Just goes in line with things we've been talking about. Let's listen into this.
With the bank situation, with the crypto-friendly bank situation in the United States, do you think everyone eventually will just leave the U.S.? Or what of the situation of on and off ramps in the United States for banks and crypto institutions?
Yeah, I mean, look, my guess is that when you have demand that is as strong as it is, there will always be smaller banks that are willing to step up and try to risk manage this. So, you get rid of Signature Bank and you have Customers Bank, and you get rid of Customers Bank and then you have Coastal Com. I mean, there's always somebody who's going to serve this because there's a demand, and crypto's not unlawful. The question then becomes, how quickly and how committedly is the administration going to go after every single last one of those, and how will they answer to the 50 million customers who are looking for fiat on and off ramps? My belief is that they're trying to send a signal that will eventually choke this off. That's again what Operation Choke Point was. But you can't kill all of the animals in the zoo at some point. So my belief is there will always be somebody serving it. It'd be better if larger banks with better risk management were serving the sector. But if they don't, there will be somebody doing that. And hopefully over time, as the asset class matures, people will get comfortable with that.
I can see why he was saying, the larger, right, more established, more money or whatever, regulated. But it's like, why can't, these platforms that have been building within our space in general, if we're talking about tokenization, crypto, digital assets, it's like, why can't you just give them some a operating book or like a rule book to follow, right? So they can build out, right? I mean, think about this community. Us as investors, we've been researching self-custodying, decentralization, how to utilize and partake in, certain networks. Like a lot of us that are in the space know how to do all these different things. So we trust, as you could say, things in our space more than the quote unquote traditional incumbents. But I can see why he's saying that, because when you're talking about the masses, that's what we're going to have to do. There's going to have to be some give and take to get the masses to believe and to have faith and trust within this space, right? Which in turn, in the future, is going to be massive for the space. Gosh, my email's going crazy. Anyways, let's end on this last one right here. I thought this was hilarious. So Eddie Griffin is one of my favorite comedians, and I thought this was hilarious. Riz XRP had put this up. Let's listen into this.
Go to the government. Can you bail us out? Ain't nobody gonna bail y'all ass out, man.
How many times?
How many times we done bailed you banks out? How many times we done bailed out corporate America? How many times we done bailed all you sons of bitches out? So, on that note, fuck no. We ain't getting bailed out no more. So yes, XRP about to blow. That's my take on it. Guess what? You can't even buy none. Because they done rigged the system again. You can't rig the goddamn system again.
They can't rig the system, so I don't know if that's gonna be or whatever, copyrighted or whatever. So if it gets cut out, he was just talking about bailing out the banks. He's saying, heck no, we ain't bailing out the banks again. XRP is gonna blow, and they didn't rig the system to where I can't buy none. It's funny. It's all fun. I just wanted to put that in there. Quickly looking at CoinGecko, we're currently sitting at a $1.13 trillion market cap. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index sitting at a 52. We're at a neutral. Just a waiting game, people. I'll keep updating you. Make sure you come to the Crypto is Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Crypto is Key 1. Really appreciate your support out there. With all that being said, stay strong out there and be safe.